What is up, YouTube Steam blockchain? So today I want to talk a little bit about from ownership to access, networks from markets to networks. I want to talk a little bit about this, how stuff is evolving in this digital age. So this might sound like it doesn't really make any sense, because if you really look at it, the whole industry, yes, you still have markets, you still have ownership, yes. But if you dive a little bit deeper into it, then you see that it's a bigger paradigm. I mean, there's a bigger transition phase going on where you're really moving away from having to hoard something, having to do everything yourself, and like be an autonomous agent in a survival of the fittest game. It's moving a little bit away from that, and it's moving more into what is going on in the network effects, access. If you have access, think about Uber, Airbnb. If you have access, do you really need to pay a high fee? Look at phones. You have subscription models. You look at Netflix, look at Spotify, Airbnb. I mean, everything is moving more and more towards access. It's moving more towards access, towards subscription models, away from holding and ownership. Now, this again might sound contradictory, because you could say you could say that, yeah, we're still holding the crypto, but if you look at it, it's digital. Is it even real? It's in a computer somewhere. But are you really owning that? You have access to a key, but if other people have access to the same key, the key is just a few numbers. So are you really owning that? Or do you just know a key? You kind of just have access. So it's kind of tricky here, because a lot of people want to go towards, oh, I'm owning this, I'm holding this, this is mine. But if someone else had the same key that you have, if they just know a few numbers, they have access too. Do they also own the same thing then? Are you both owning the same thing? Or is it a paradigm shift, moving towards networks and access? And if you have access, you don't need all this other nonsense. Now, still, I get it. Some people have these goals of 100 cars and 100 mansions. They want that, right? I get it, but that's not like majority of people. You know, majority of people, if they can have access, they're pretty satisfied. Now, this might sound like trickery again, because a lot of people then are looking at it, oh, just access. But what is mine? You know, like, it's like, I can see that it can look trickery. But it's fascinating. So I was sort of looking at this. So if you got 1,000th of a dollar in upvote on Steam, which is 0.001, and you got that daily for, that doesn't sound like a lot, right? Maybe you want like $1 in the Bitcoin. But if you're really looking at this, if you got 1,000th of a dollar per day in an upvote, and let's say that happens for 5 years straight, well, you're already up in $1.8. So that's kind of interesting, right? You can see how it's more moving towards long-term relationships, long-term networks that last a long time. And if they last a long time, eventually those networks create more value than all these other stuff that people try to do themselves. Or let's say trying to like, oh, someone else is going to pump this stuff for me so I can make some profits. And then I'm going to buy low, I'm going to sell high, and then I'm going to run away from the market. Like, we're trying to move away a little bit from that and move towards networks. You don't have to run away, you know? You don't have to run away. Like, you can use it a little bit daily, and it's fine, and it's still here. and people don't have to like try to create advanced systems where they always try to like figure out a magic trick. Like the network, take the Steam network. I mean, there's nothing really magic going on here, but it works. It kind of works. If it lasts a long time, it works. But it needs more people, right? It needs more people, and it needs people that actually use it as it was designed to be used. Proof of brain, and like always try to expand intelligence. So it's really interesting how it's moving towards this phase of access, and it really does make sense. It really does make sense, because holding like assets or something physical, it looks so complicated when we can just do everything virtual. When we can do most things virtual and digital, and that is so much cheaper, then it's like, why should we do all these other stuff? Now, when we only had that alternative, the ownership alternative, then that kind of made a lot of sense, right? Because there was no other alternatives. But now we're starting to get alternatives that probably is more ideal for 99% of people. So it's kind of it's cool to kind of see this unfold, and that you have this, you know, and this is a very, very big thing, that in the other system, people sort of want to be like super independent, and they like think that that is the most win. But you're starting to realize that the network is like, the more you're connected with other people, the better. Like, you're creating more value. Like, it's way better. This is way better with open systems. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna keep unfold, right? And a lot of this technology at the moment, it doesn't look like it's so successful, mainly because most people are running still on old technology. They have old smartphones, they have old computers. They don't have access. A lot of people don't have access to the best knowledge that are available right now, because it's kind of complex, right? Because there's so many distractions and things like that going on. But you know, when they have access and they just use it, they're gonna see it's kind of cool. It's kind of win-win. Like, why would we keep on using win-lose systems when you can design win-win systems? So these systems are actually working. Just because they're so cheap, because the value is being produced, ones and zeros, it means that also goods and services, the price of them can go down if they also adopt the new technology. So right now you have to pay a lot in fiat to get some goods and services, mainly because they're not aware of this new technology. So they're charging a higher fee because it's just more expensive. But then when they adopt this new technology as well, it becomes even more win-win, because yeah, they're lowering the value that they get in, but just because more and more people can access those goods and services, they get more value in still. So lower price, but more like customers eventually, or like more consumers. It's kind of good, man. It's very, very good, to be honest. So there's a lot of win-win sides that people do not consider that much, that you can do more with less with these new systems. You could take a small unit and make it do amazing stuff. Something that's very, very hard to do in the real world, because stuff is just more expensive there. But eventually this world is going to become like the real world, because everyone's going to see the benefits. And that is something that I am looking forward to. And it's very interesting also to see these networks grow in size. It's interesting to sort of see how people are using them. And many people want to innovate, many people want to try a lot of things, but they don't have the proper tools at the moment. But eventually they're gonna have way better tools. And as we could take, as computing, as that becomes cheaper as well, people need less devices, but they can get more like output or more rewards because that is digitized. Okay, that's kind of nice. So yeah, that's something I talked a little bit about a couple of days ago, to be honest. That concept, that the other value, like the fiat value, comes from the physical world, so that's why it's so much more expensive, while this digital value is so easier to produce. So for example, for affiliate marketing, it's going to be amazing because you can reward it so much easier with just some numbers and some crypto. While if you want to reward affiliate marketing with the physical world, the physical fiat systems, that is way more expensive for the companies, right? So reward systems, when they become cheaper, more and more people can try them out, and the easier it is to create systems that makes incentive for humans to do certain actions, and then humans see that it's win-win for all sides, and then they're like, they have buy-in, they have massive buy-in, and then they hang around, right? Because humans like cool stuff. A lot of the older systems, they're so closed, and it's like they're missing out so much just because they have closed systems, and it's kind of sad, to be honest. It's very sad. So yeah, age of access, the 2020s decades, or 2020 decade, it's really cool, to be honest, because it's going to go pretty fast from like when everyone is instantly on board on the new systems. It's like people are going to realize kind of fast that, oh yeah, I'm good, I have all the computing power I need. Does anyone else need it, you know? So at the moment, a lot of people are running low on computing power, but eventually they're gonna have an abundance of computing power, and then human societies can do a lot of cool stuff that they couldn't do before, and that's fascinating. It's gonna be very cool to see that play out and unfold. Yeah, have a great day, DTube and Steam blockchain. Bye bye.